wise men, everybody. Welcome in Lima Land. I'm Danny Holbrook, joined by Miles Holiday. I don't know what you're doing there. Nate Garlock to my left. Gentlemen, it is week 11. It is week 11. The postseason begins.
Playoffs. Nate, first I want to compliment on how nice you look today.
Yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed yours as well. It's really complimentary.
Yeah, you look sharp, man.
Yeah,
you look really good.
I wore mine last week. Must we start every show out by arguing? It's week 11 of the high school football
I believe
season.
we were just complimenting
I was
each other.
complimenting how handsome Nate looks.
Oh, well, let's do this. Let's talk about the Diamond Dave Bowen. Best thing we saw this week. Take it away, Miles.
All right, so here's the email address. If you ever have any questions for us, folks, you want to hit that right there. And then a couple weeks from now, we will do the questions on the three wise men. And Danny will sing his song.
Yeah.
He's quite the singer.
I am.
All right, best things we saw all week. I have more than one. But I'll start with volleyball. Randy Roberts and I, along with Jacob O'Neill, we were out at Defiance last Thursday. Wow, what a 5-set thriller. Tenora took the first 2 sets. And then watch out, here comes Parkway. Took the second 2 sets and then went to a 5-setter. As good as volleyball as you'll ever see. It's on the WSN app. Tenora against Parkway. Watch it. It was a fantastic match. Volleyball at its finest right there. But also had the privilege, Bluffton and Columbus Grove. What a football game. The atmosphere over at Columbus Grove with the light show that they do, the blackout, everything, the atmosphere over there. Of course, a little bit of dislike helps to make the game a little more interesting also. It was fantastic. Brady Basinger, number 7. Man, is a physical guy for Columbus Grove. That guy, as a linebacker, as a tight end, there is nobody more physical than him playing football. He is fantastic. And then the offensive staff, Trey Rooney, the offensive coordinator at Grove. Remember a couple weeks ago, they did a great job against LCC running jet sweep pop pass 18 times. Our guy Baxter carried it, right? Oh, you know what? Bluffton was ready for it. However, they weren't ready for the complementary plays off of it. The fake pop pass to the seam, the counter run. The offensive staff at Columbus Grove did a great job getting ready for complementary plays off that pop pass, and that was a huge difference in that football game.
Nate?
Yeah, for mine, pretty simple for me. I was at the Crestview LCC game. It was a fantastic game. LCC gets up big early. Crestview fights their way back. You get into that fourth quarter, just a couple of score game. Crestview, they score, they go for the onside kick. Not a high percentage play.
Nope.
We don't see it get recovered very often. Crestview, they're able to get it back. They go down, they score. Within a 1 score now, or 2 score, excuse me. They're like, hey, we got to try it again.
Let's do it again, baby.
They recovered back-to-back onside kicks. You
never see that.
Never see that, ever. It was exciting to watch that. If you're an LCC fan, you weren't really real thrilled to see that happen. But just one of those things that you don't see it very often. It was a fun thing to watch. And then, it was the greatest thing of the week. The playoff bracket was released on Sunday. We had all the teams that made it into the playoffs. We got to see the matchups, see where it was going to be. Got to go through there and comb it all the way from D1 down to D7.
And all the teams that took a bye.
Yep, absolutely. it was best part of the weekend, going through all those and seeing the matchups and starting to see what their path is, who they got to play, who they're going to beat. It was really a lot of fun.
Well, guys, I was out of town this weekend, as you know. I did not call a game. Big Bears. Got some bear sightings down in the Smokies. But for me, I was keeping track on the app of all the games going on. And guys, again, for me, it's the resiliency of Marion Local. My goodness, they are unbelievable. A 7-6 win over a really good Coldwater team. We talked about that game last week. We all felt that Marion Local probably would win this, but I said last week would be surprised if Coldwater wins. And I said, no, I wouldn't be. They almost had this one. But again, this is a Marion Local team that beat Versailles by a point. This is a Marion Local team that beat Anna by a point. They beat St. Henry by a touchdown. Right. They know how to win close games. I think it's going to serve them well. If they run the table and win a state title, I'm not going to be surprised.
They do it different ways, right?
Right.
Complete football team. Couldn't score offensively, did enough defensively. Oh, and special teams turns out to be the big factor, right? And Marion Local just always doing something that helped them win football games.
It's interview time here on The Three Wise Men. And this segment is brought to you by Springfield Fireworks in Bluffton. It is your one-stop shop for the largest selection of fireworks and novelty items. Open 7 days a week, 9 to 8. And we've got one of their employees here, right? Bluffton Pirates in the house. Coach Jeff Richards, Tayte Giesige, and Braylon Goings. That's going to be a blast, right? That job.
Oh, it is a blast.
Take copy.
I wonder what he takes off, Danny.
All right, guys, what a great season for the Bluffton Pirates. Another great season like you guys do it all the time. Coach, what's it like to coach at a place where football is front and center?
Well, it's fabulous, especially, the crowds we get at Harmon Field are great every single week, and our guys have really embraced that, that role of, the work they put in. One of the best fruits of that labor is, the excitement on Friday nights under the lights. And a lot of people don't get to experience that. So I always want them to kind of cherish that opportunity when they run out on the field. It's always amazing.
And if I had to be a position player at a school like Bluffton, quarterback's probably not too bad of a gig, right, Tayte?
Nope.
Yeah. You enjoyed quarterbacking the Bluffton Pirates. And not only that, but just take away the wins and losses, but being a leader on that team.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing, especially since a whole bunch of guys on the team are really coachable. Being a leader is really easy on this team. That's a really good thing on a really well-rounded team.
Yeah. Harmon Field is one of my favorite places to visit. I love the atmosphere around it, the whole walking to the football field in the middle of town. It's electric. It means a great deal. But it's a playoff game at home this Friday. What does that mean to you guys, knowing that it's going to be up another level? You got an opportunity to host a playoff game.
Go for it.
I mean, you just got to show up. You got to show up and play our football. If we play our football, we should have good things happen to us. So you don't let the standard of the game change. So. Yeah,
it's just another home game, there's playoff on the line. It's win or go home, but at the end of the day, you can't let the moment get bigger than yourselves.
Coach, it's nice to be at home, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'd much rather be at home than drive 2 hours to Western Reserve.
Yeah.
Right.
Big thing for us, though, too, is as we tell our guys, seniors, we can't guarantee them a lot other than 10 games, and it's up to them how many more we get after that. And the same is with home games. We guaranteed them 5 home games, and it was up to them whether they got any more. They did enough to get some more, so it's another opportunity for those seniors to play on Harmon Field.
It's fantastic.
Braylon, I want to ask you, what's it like to get to block and protect this guy? And I said this earlier in the year. I felt like of all the players in our area that made a leap from last year to this year, I thought Tayte was fantastic. But he's not doing it alone, right? You get a sense of satisfaction, right?
Yeah, I'd say when Tayte has a good game, I feel like up front we all have a good game too. If he has a bad game, it's usually on us, but so far we haven't had too many bad ones. So
you don't blame him if he has a bad game?
No, let's
ask Coach that.
Coming into this season, they're maybe not within the program, but I think outside of the program, there's a lot of people that maybe had some questions about how you guys were going to bounce back from last year. You guys lost a lot in graduation, obviously had some pieces coming back, but how all that was going to fit and what that was going to kind of relate to for the season as a whole. Obviously 8-2, a fantastic season heading into the playoffs. It's all worked out really well. But, Coach, coming into this year, did you kind of have some of those questions too, or did you know you had guys that were going to step up? Anybody surprise you?
Yeah, well, definitely. A big question, you have a really talented senior class that does something that hadn't been done in a very long time at Bluffton, and they all graduate. It's something that there's going to be a lot of questions like that. And we challenged our guys at the end of last season that our standard had changed, and we weren't going to lower our standard even though we were graduating some fantastic players. These guys did the bulk of the work by developing in the offseason and really proving, themselves. And we went into the season, emphasizing they hadn't won anything going into week 1. They had to earn everything this season, and they've really responded to that. We had some guys that, injuries have been kind of the bug this year for us. We had, I think at one point, 41% of our roster was injured, and we were still winning games, which was the best part. But, these guys took it upon themselves to really kind of carry that banner into this year and kind of consistently show up when they needed to.
And it's easier said than done, right? Coaches can tell you guys have to step up, you guys have to do these things. We haven't won anything yet. It's a lot harder for you guys to go out there, put the work in, and back that stuff up. What was the kind of things that you guys did in the offseason and through the season to get yourselves to this point right now?
I'd say off-season training. Over the winter and summer, 6 a.m. lifts, you just had to go hard there to prove yourself. So I think that's where it started for me at least.
Yeah, for sure. The weight room's where it starts. If you don't push yourself in the weight room, you won't see any product in the real season, the regular season. But, yeah, it all comes on the weight room, 6 a.m., how hard are you going to push yourself, and getting all the young guys in, too. We can't just focus on ourselves. We got to focus on the younger guys below us and, hopefully keep them motivated.
I'm completely shocked that a Coach Richards coach team has a heavy emphasis on the weight room. Completely floored by that.
It's hard.
Coach, how long has it been since you lost your neck?
I don't think I ever had it.
I want to talk to you, Braylon. Playing offensive line, former lineman as a left guard, so I know how the pride that goes with playing on the offensive line, right? Congratulations, selected second NWC and second team all league. That had to be a great honor for you, right? What is your favorite part of being on the offensive line, and what's your favorite block?
Oh, my favorite block has to be the down block. You gotta love a good down block, especially as a center, because you don't get a pull anymore. But the down block's always fun. But my favorite part of being the O-lineman, it has to be just like all five of us. Like we're really close. We're a unit together. Like I think, and compared to past years, I think it's the closest the starting five has been together. Like we can all hang out and stuff. I think just up front we're all super close with each other. And if we make mistakes, we don't yell at each other or anything. We move on with it because we're just a unit together, I feel like.
Now, you guys got a lot of great traditions at Bluffton, right? But I learned of one on Friday. I'm talking to Coach in pregame. There it is. Your glorious belly is showing in pregame, right? I said, Coach, what is going on here? He told me the story. Share the story about everybody showing their bellies.
So when I was a freshman, there was two juniors, Marco Ida and Daniel Fredericks. Before every game, they lift up their shirts to where it's a crop top, and they have their stomach sticking out. And then they took me under their wings. They always made me do it with them. And so I started doing it. When they were seniors and I was a sophomore, I did it with them. And then when I got bumped up to varsity as a junior, I started doing it too. And I've just carried on the tradition.
That's fantastic. Under their belly, really.
Under their belly, yeah.
And there's a trickle effect. We have youth football players that are doing it. It's hilarious. If you can make it cool to be an offensive lineman, that's a bright future.
Your belly's cool.
Anybody ever just say, Tayte, you ever say that to him?
No, dude, I love the bellies. I think it's hilarious.
Coach, I love listening to coaches talk about their philosophies and building cultures and teams. But I also like to know what are some of your non-negotiables. And I'm not talking about rules and breaking that kind of stuff, but what are some things that you just say, we're not going to do on this program because X, Y, and Z?
A big thing for us is, and they hear a lot, is that we're a family. And it sounds cliche at times and things like that, but for these guys to understand the amount of time they spend together and the amount of work they put in, they're legitimately a family, and how we act is like a family. So there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be stuff happen, but they stay together no matter what. Good times or bad, and we always tell them, it's easy. When times are going good, everybody can be a leader, everybody can be a rah-rah guy when times are good. But when you have those struggles, when you face that adversity, sticking together, not letting people point fingers, things like that.
Yeah,
so.
That's great stuff, because, and I think we can all agree, when you guys get older and like us, old guys, you're going to look back on your time. The wins and losses aren't going to matter. You're going to remember the relationships.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
good stuff, Coach.
Yeah, that bond always is there.
Yeah.
Tate, obviously a lot of attention because of the quarterback play. Very well deserved. You've had a fantastic year. First team all NWC in the quarterback position, but also first team all defense, right? What is it? I'm sure offense seems to be everybody's favorite, right? But what is it about the defensive side of the ball that also makes you so special? Why do you have so much pride playing on that side?
Well, yeah, coming into the season, I did not think I was going to be a DB at all. But obviously, what Coach said, we had a lot of injuries happen. I had to step up, and I was willing to step up. But what takes so much pride in the defense is that you have to get gritty sometimes. And as a quarterback, I feel like they kind of get like, you're not as gritty as some other people. So I kind of take disrespect to that. So I go out on defense, and I try and stick my nose in the hits, and I just take pride in our defense.
What's better, though, big hit or big play on offense?
That's a really good question.
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think I had one against Pandora this year. It was like a 4th and short, and I filled the hole pretty good, and we got a turnover on downs. Now, that's pretty good, but a deep ball is always good.
Yeah.
How many times a game, though, Coach, do you kind of hold your breath when he's on defense? You're like, maybe we don't lead going into that one.
Well, and he's 100% right. We had zero intention of playing him very much on defense, and we had injuries week 1, and it turned into, all right, well, Tate's going to have to play some defense. And now Tate's leading the team in tackles, and it's been that way all season. And early on, it's but he's a competitor. He's an athlete, and he's not going to stop being a competitor no matter what. So I think we had some points during the season. You were asking to be our field goal kicker because we were having some issues with holds and things like that. And he was, I can learn how to kick. I can figure it out.
I bet he could too, right?
You want competitors?
How about going
for sure.
super toe, right? Straight on kicker, right?
He does some scout team kickoff on this.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah, belly showing and everything.
Oh, yeah. Always. Guys, every time we get people on the show asking the same question, I want to know, and I'm not going to ask you, Coach, but he knows what's coming. The school you want to beat the most every year. I think I know the answer. I really do think I know the answer, but sometimes I get surprised.
Yeah, mine would definitely be Grove, but ever since I was young, our rivalry in like midgets has always been LCC. But we obviously lost to both of them this year, which stings, but you can't change that. So, but Grove is definitely the answer.
Okay.
It's got to be Grove. It always is Grove, and I think, well, it's sparked even more because one of my coworkers is from Grove, so he always is in my ear about how good Grove is. So it sparks me up even more about it.
And I'm not going to ask Coach because he's going to say the next game, right? That's Coach speak. Right?
Well,
Western
I'm glad you guys brought it up. I didn't want to do it, but obviously, coming off of the tough loss, you responded really well after your first loss of the season. Now you have the second one, Coach. What was it that impressed you the most, Coach, coming off that loss to LCC with how your team rebounded and, obviously going to have to get them back in that mentality again coming up this Friday?
Yeah. Well, the thing that makes me most proud about these guys is their resilience. Frustration is common in sports and it's competition. So when things don't go right, you're frustrated, you're angry about it. Same thing with against Grove. We had things we did well and we had things we didn't do well. But you can't change them, so they got to learn from them and move on from there. It's not easy, but life's not easy, and they got to learn those lessons.
Plus, last year, you guys went on a great run after a loss to Grove, right? You can do that again. Tate, one of the most improved players in Northwest Ohio, in my opinion, and that's with all respect, because I thought you were fantastic last year, but the step you made from last year to this year, second to none in my estimation. When you look at your game, what's the biggest area of improvement when you look back at your season?
I would say from last season to this season, I think the biggest part that I improved in my game was definitely passing. I feel like last year I could make plays. I've always been able to make plays with my feet, but my main goal has always been able to make plays with my arm.
Is there a certain route that you feel more comfortable throwing that maybe a year ago you couldn't?
Probably a dig route, just a 10-yard in or, just a simple 10-yard out. 10-yard outs are one of the hardest. 15-yard outs are one of the hardest routes to throw, in my opinion. But, yeah, I think I improved a lot in my passing game this year.
Favorite go ball? Is that all quarterbacks always like that? Look, Coach, let's throw it deep, right? Is that yours?
And, yeah, I would say that or like a simple post or something like that. But, yeah.
Very nice.
Tate, you went to the Manning Passing Academy?
Yep.
Is it true you have Peyton's number in your phone?
I wish.
Did you get to meet any of them?
Oh, yeah. So I took a picture with Peyton. I didn't get Eli, but the way the camp was is that you would have practice, pretty much drills like all day. It was a 3-day camp. And you would have competition time, like 7-on-7s and stuff with like the group that you were in. And I went up against Arch, the quarterback at Texas.
You're better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Hey, Lionel Land, I'm calling it right now. It's better. I've watched him all year.
But we beat his team, though. And,
of course you did.
Yeah. But we were horns down the whole time. And he trash talked me at one point. He was like, because I threw like an out in cover 2 or whatever. He's like, yeah, forcing outs in cover 2, huh? I just went like that, horns down. But yeah, it was a fun experience.
How good was the competition?
Oh, there was a lot of kids there. I was really nervous going into it because I didn't know how my skill set was going to line up with some of the others coming from 6A, 5A schools and D1 schools, but I thought I fit in pretty good. I went into the camp just wanting to learn, not thinking I was better than anybody else, but just taking the experience in.
Is it true when you ask for some of the Manning's phone numbers, they say you can only have Cooper's?
Oh, man, I wish I had the numbers.
Coach, what's the best part about coaching these guys? Because they just seem like fantastic guys on and off the field.
Oh, it's, their character. I think, it makes it very easy to coach guys when, one, they genuinely care and they genuinely, care about each other. It makes it a lot easier to be a coach when you've got guys that you look at those guys in the huddle and they care about the guy next to them and they're willing to lay it on the line for each other. and then also great kids in general, as role models in the school. Being a dad, nothing brings me more joy than to see my 6-year-old son look up to my players as heroes. It's one of the best things.
Before Miles gets to rapid fire, Braylon, something we don't know about Coach that would embarrass him.
Oh gosh. Probably that his son's a crash out.
Yeah. My son is a wild child. He's feral. So he's 6 years old. He's 6 years old. He's feral. At state wrestling, Braylon wrestled for me as well. I'm the head wrestling coach as well. So at state wrestling, Braylon and Mason Shank, who's another one of our linemen, state qualifier wrestler. My son was positioned in the middle between the two of them in the car, arguing with Braylon about John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I think Braylon got assaulted the entire time by my son.
We all know that Cody's better, right? All right, guys. Here's some rapid fire questions for you. Okay. What's the best part of being in downtown Bluffton? Because I go to downtown Bluffton, I think it's absolutely amazing. All the decorations and stuff. What's the best part?
Definitely like the small town feeling. Nothing's better than small town ball. But yeah, just the community. The community's so close, and it's all so close together. The high school's right there. Yep. Then you have all the restaurants and stuff. It's a really good community.
It's a popcorn place too.
Yeah,
sure is.
I have to say almost the same. I'd say just the community. Like everyone's near each other. It's all small. Like everything's just like right by each other. The Mexican restaurant, really good.
Yeah, really, you like Mexican food? Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely just it's a small town, and everyone. It's nice that everyone knows everyone, so it's a nice community to be around.
Coach, is that nice? I mean, because sometimes you just want to be incognito, right?
I grew up in Bluffton, and I think my perspective it changed because I left the area. I moved to Kentucky for a number of years, came back, and the community rallies around the school so much. Yeah. I think that's one of the best parts about the school being centrally located in the community is when something's going on with the school, everybody in the community gets behind it, and it's great.
Who's the fastest guy with the football in his hands on the team?
Me. It's probably Kane Wright, in my opinion. He's got some speed.
I gotta go Blaine. Blaine Hill. He can rock some people and keep running too.
Yeah, he's the guy that if he catches it coming across the field, he might just go all the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Run right through everybody.
Oh yeah,
that's a good answer. All right, who does the best pirate impression on the team?
I bet Braylon's not afraid to do one.
Who would it be?
Andy Broadman.
Andy Broadman.
Really? What's he do?
He just, if you're around the kid, it's hard to explain. He's an interesting soul.
All right, now you guys can answer this one, then we'll ask Coach. Okay, who is Coach's favorite pro wrestler?
Oh,
I know nothing about pro wrestling. Ric Flair.
Ooh, that's a good guess.
Oh, that's it.
We've had this conversation before.
I know it is. I know it's Ric Flair.
I don't think it's Ric Flair.
Wow, you're really putting things.
Any wrestling man.
Any wrestler.
Poor Braylon. Like Hulk Hogan.
These are tough questions.
We'll go with The Rock.
The Rock. Coach, who is it?
It was actually Macho Man Randy Savage.
I thought it was Ric Flair because every time we practice, we do a Ric Flair. We do two claps of Ric Flair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, guys. Halloween, unfortunately, you guys are going to be playing football. Or fortunately, you're going to be playing football. You can't dress up, but if you could, you would be what?
Either a guy with a crop top or the Big Show.
Or both, right?
Or both.
Big Show.
Crop top. He's just going as himself.
You would just literally just take your shirt and fold it up and walk around and ask for candy.
I just cut it.
Why not?
Just cut it.
He's like, it's just pregame.
It's glorious, Danny. It's glorious. All right, Tayte, what about you?
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. Why Anakin Skywalker?
The scar he has on his eye, I do it for eye black for football games. It's kind of the villain out
You
of
gotta
me.
be careful when you're putting eye black around your eyes for a game, though, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it to sting, right? Coach, who are you going to be for Halloween if you could?
I'd probably go with Nacho Libre.
Nacho
Make a good one with that.
Fantastic.
I look at you and think luchador.
Coach Tate, Brad, before we get moving on here, what do you got to do to get the win this Friday night?
I think a big part for our guys is put in a good week of practice, do everything in their control, and then just play our brand of football, which is fast and physical.
Definitely leave last week behind us.
That's great.
Leave last week behind us. Focus on because we can only change the outcome of the future, only what we can change in the future. So, one play at a time Friday night and see what the outcome is.
Crop top? You know they're going to call you that from now on.
On Friday night's broadcast, crop top goings. Yep.
He's my new favorite offensive lineman.
I would say just play our football. If we play our football, we should come out with a win.
Fantastic. Wish you guys luck, man.
Yeah, congratulations on a great season, guys. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
This may go down as the best show. I'm telling you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Paul.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at the WSN football schedule for this week. As I said, it is postseason. Week 11, it's win or go home. Game 1, Friday night, Parma Holy Name versus Shawnee. Mark Shine and Jerry Snodgrass on the call. Parma comes in at 6-4, Shawnee 7-3. Got to give Shane Wireman and his staff a lot of credit. They're hosting a playoff game.
Well, look, I said it on this show last week when we were talking about underrated teams, and I said Shawnee was an underrated team. They're not getting the credit they deserve. They're not getting talked about like they should. This is a team that 2 years ago was 0-10. In just 2 years under Coach Wireman, they go into this one 7-3, and they get to host just their second ever home playoff game. They've only gone to 3 other playoffs in school history. This is just trip number 4, and they are heavily favored in this one against Holy Name. They have a lot of things going right over there in Shawnee. I'm excited to watch this one, and I'm even more excited to hopefully see Shawnee come away with a victory.
Holy Name, only 2-3 in their last 5. They really struggled to score some points. I think the first one to 20 wins this football game, and I think it's going to be Shawnee if they run the football, right? Let Meeks inherit the football. He had a great week last week. 22 carries, 131 yards. We've seen him play. He is an absolute load when he's carrying the football, right? Very few times he's brought down by one guy. We're down that Holy Name defense, dictate turns by running the football, and then you could set up that big rematch in round number 2.
Oh, I knew you were going to bring that up.
Against Wapak. Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah, guys, I look at numbers here. Holy Name comes in averaging 18 points a game. What does Shawnee average on the defensive side? 19 points a game. They're going to shut them down. And then Shawnee offensively, they average almost 30 a game. I really look for Shawnee to roll in this one, and then the confidence level goes up, and then we get a Shawnee-Wapak rematch.
Take care of the football, right? If you're Shawnee, that's the only way I think Holy Name steals this one is if you help them out. Just you run the football, take care of it. I think Shawnee wins easy.
Just really excited for the program, for the school, and that community over in Shawnee. This is not something that they're used to. Coach Wireman was a home run hire, and he's proven it right away.
It just goes to prove you come on to 3 wise men, you're going to have success, right?
It's proven. Yeah. Game 2 Friday night, Western Reserve versus Bluffton. Randy Roberts on our own, Miles Holiday on the call. Western Reserve comes in at 8-2. Bluffton is at 8-2. Guys, for me, I looked at this. Western Reserve has won 7 of the last 8 games. I looked at the schedule. For me, it's competition. Bluffton plays far better competition.
Yeah, I agree.
I look for the Pirates to roll in this one.
I like Tayte Giesige, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick Tayte Giesige. I think this is a game, they throw it up to Kane Wright a couple times. His 6'4" frame out jumps a couple of the guys from Western Reserve. This Western Reserve team is no slouch, Danny, at 8-2. They have pitched 5 shutouts, 4 straight. So I think that Giesige running the football with his vertical threat to Kane Wright, I like Bluffton's philosophy on that.
Yeah, and I think Western Reserve is going to give Bluffton a little bit of a challenge here. Bluffton won't overlook them. Coach Richards, we talked to him previously. They're not going to overlook this team by any stretch. This is a Western Reserve team that is going to lean heavy into their run. They are going to rely on that defense. In their victories, they have only given up a total of 22 points in those 8 wins. And even in their 2 losses, the most they gave up was 27. The defense is used to being able to be in control. If the offense from Bluffton can get out to a good start, they can put that defense on their heels. I don't know that Western Reserve is going to know what to do or going to be able to answer quickly, but this is a game that I think Bluffton, it's going to be important for them to get out to a quick start, get in the front early, and not allow Western Reserve to feel like they're in this game.
You're going to have to do a good job against Froelich, the big receiver for Western Reserve. Had a big week last week, 5 catches, 119 yards. I know they like to run the football, but they do have a vertical threat as well.
Let me ask you guys this before we go into the next game. How much of an advantage does Bluffton have because Western Western Reserve has to come across. Right. I mean, that travel time's huge.
Bus trips on school buses are not fun.
Yeah.
I've done a ton of them.
Yep.
Nobody enjoys them. Kids don't like them. You're tired, you're sore. It takes a little bit. It is a big advantage.
Yeah, and you don't know. You plan on getting somewhere at a certain time. You don't know if you're going to get there, right? You're at the mercy of traffic. You're at the mercy of the bus driver.
And something always seems to go wrong.
It does. And when you get there late, then it throws off your whole pregame schedule. And as we know, coaches love habits. They love schedules. Yep.
Game 3, Friday night, Arlington at Pandora Gilboa. Myself and Darren Gilly Gilbert on the call for this one. Arlington 7-3, Pandora 7-3. These two squads met September 19th. Pandora gets the 24-14 win. There's something about playing somebody you're familiar with, though, in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. And these rematches, it's always interesting to watch them come tournament time, the adjustments that are made, who's able to make those the quickest. Pandora, though, and Arlington, though, these are not the same teams that met in early September by any stretch. And I think Pandora Gilboa especially has really grown a lot. We've seen that offense really take a step forward here towards the end of the season. They have big wins on their on the season. They had that opening game win against Columbus Grove that was really a catalyst for them. And I really think that Pandora is set up nicely here for a playoff run.
Yeah, they always say it's tough to beat a team twice in a year, right? I like your odds when you have a quarterback that's playing it really well. And Corey Girton, the greatest quarterback to ever come out of Pandora Gilboa stat-wise. He is playing as well as he can. 9 of 11 last week. Fantastic. Look, he's got 2 great receivers in Boggs and Meyer, almost as good as the Harris guys they had a couple years ago, right? They can run the football with Burkholder also. A lot of what they do, quick screens, let guys catch it and run through the secondary, they're very proficient at that. But when you look at the development of Girton, I went back and watched him this week. The thing that he does so well, Danny, is he drops back, gets it in the shotgun, and his drop. He gets to his drop so perfectly that you can't get to him on a pass rush. It is almost impossible. So he gets himself a window to find his receivers. He is a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah, guys, I had these guys 2 weeks ago. I talked about that last week against Tayte. He makes every throw. He is fantastic. He's my new favorite. He needs to go on the board.
Yeah, we're definitely going to put him on the board soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, game 4, Covington versus Coldwater. Diamond Dave Bowen and Jack McGuire on the call. Covington comes in at 5-5. Coldwater at 6-4. Guys, the last time Covington stepped into the MAC was earlier this year, and New Bremen absolutely blew them out 49-0. I really like Coldwater in this game.
I do too, because Covington gave up over 565 yards passing a week ago. That's good news for Carson Homan. 106 last week, but he also carried it for 58 yards, right? He is the Coldwater offense right now while they are still injured in the backfield with their run game. I like their ability to throw the football against a Covington team that is very leaky in the secondary.
This is a great example of not all records are built the same. This is a Coldwater team that comes in 6-4, but this has got to be the best 6-4 team in probably the entire state. Nobody wants to see the Cavaliers, let alone Covington. They're going to be in for a long night against Coldwater.
Yeah, don't forget, though, this is a Covington team that was red hot before they lost last week. They had won 5 in a row after losing their first 4. So it's a capable team, but I just like the ability to throw the football for Coldwater.
Never bet against the MAC in the postseason.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Game 5, gentlemen. Cincinnati-Aiken comes to town to play Lima Senior. Aiken comes in at 6-4. Lima Senior 8-2. Nate Garlock, Dar Nevergall on the call. Guys, I think you would both agree with me that I don't know if there's a hotter team around the area than Lima Senior right now. They're playing their best football.
Absolutely. And, this is one of those times. This is an opportunity for Lima Senior to get the taste of last year out of them.
Yeah, that's a great point.
They finished the year with 2 losses last year. They were runner-up in the TCAL after losing the start. Then they went into the playoffs. They lost that first-round game after having such a prolific season offensively. This year, we haven't quite seen the offensive numbers that we were used to seeing, but they really beefed up that non-conference schedule so they would be ready come playoff time. And they're coming into this game against Aiken really feeling very confident about where they are as a football team, and I think that we're going to see a really good Lima Senior team on Friday night, taking on an Aiken team that I just think will be overmatched.
I think Senior goes full Ruben Studdard onto Clay Aikens on Friday night. I don't see them having any
That's our
problem.
first Ruben Studdard reference on this show ever.
I think they're going to get all the votes that they need to move on. Look, this is a senior team that last year, let's be honest, they scored when Boog Wilson scored, right? Yeah. Not the case this year. They can run the football. Holland Davis average over 6 yards a carry. This is a defense that is so much improved from a year ago. And then you don't have to just focus on one receiver. There's 3 guys with over 50 catches with Williams, Webster, and Davis. These guys are a well-rounded offense, not just a one-trick pony from a year ago.
So I called Coach Lawrence today. Finding information on Cincinnati Aiken was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we were texting back and forth trying, do you got this, do you got that?
At one point in time, we thought they only played 8 games.
I know, right? All we had was 4. And so I called Coach Lawrence, and he's like, no, they played 10. They are 6-4. And I said, talk to me about them. And he said, look, they have speed everywhere. They're very athletic. Quarterback Andre Underwood, 1,341 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 400 rushing yards. So he's a multi-dimensional quarterback. They're going to have to watch when plays break down. He has the ability to get out of the pocket. Wide receiver Romello Mitchell, 700 yards and 7 touchdowns. So they've got weapons. Coach said if his kids stay disciplined, stay in their gaps, he thinks everything's going to be okay.
I believe him because it's a much better defense than a year ago, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, and you talked about the run game. This is not a one-dimensional team, which last year it kind of felt like they were going to light you up through the air, but you weren't sure what was going to happen if they had to lean on that run game. Defensively, they are a tremendous team this year. And, we just got to talk about Western Reserve, and they have to make a 2-hour bus trip to Bluffton.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Aiken's got to make a 2-hour bus trip up here to Lima. Lima Senior gets a home playoff game for the first time in a really, really long time, and I expect that this Spartan team is going to come out ready to go.
It's going to be a nice atmosphere over there.
Yeah, I feel good about this Spartan team. I really do.
I do too.
I mean, last year we had apprehensions about going into the postseason. I just feel really good about this team.
Look, I think a big difference has been the color change of the helmet, right? Going to the black helmet.
You just like poking the bear, don't you? Yeah. All right, guys, we talked about those teams. Let's just go right into it. Who do we believe has the best chance of winning a state title? Not getting there, but winning a state title.
Not anybody other than Marion Local. All right, let's go on a limb here. Okay.
All right. Well, now, wait a minute. You could make the argument that Marion Local might not win the state title this year.
They seem... They're not
vulnerable.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they're like Danny, when we're talking.
I'm soft and vulnerable.
He's vulnerable,
I'm
right?
scary. You guys are mean.
But to me, it's Wapakoneta, right?
Yeah.
I just think you watch them, and they remind me of a basketball team that can score 90 one night, and then on a Saturday, win a game 48-45, right? Any way you want to play the football game, they can win, right? You want to play a slow style. You want to make it a defensive game. Well, we can run the football, too. We're going to play great defense. But if you want to go high octane, hey, Bath, you want to get in a scoring fest? We'll do that, right? We'll score 61 on you. This is a football team at Wapakoneta that has no weakness. And is there a better guy at scheming offense than at Wapakoneta?
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's really good.
But not so fast, my friends. There's another team out there lurking around the bushes. And, I'm talking about the St. Henry Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
If they can get by Marion Local, which is a big if, I'm telling you, they've got the pieces because they can run the ball. Yep. And when the weather gets nasty, they can run the ball. They're big, they're physical. Don't sleep on the Redskins.
So listen, I'm going to stay in Division 7 with you. And then if Marion Local gets tripped up somewhere along the way and we don't see them in the state, they don't get their footing going, I think when you look at what would be a third-round matchup between Columbus Grove and the way that they are playing and LCC with the way that they have played, if the team that played Bluffton for LCC and they come into that Grove game and they're able to knock off Grove, watch out for LCC. Vice versa, if Columbus Grove continues what we have seen out of them here since they started this NWC run, they seem to be getting better week after week after week. Yeah. I think that you could really make an argument for the winner of that matchup being in that state final with a really good chance to win that game.
No, I got to ask you, though, with Columbus Grove owning LCC in recent memory, do you think that would be a factor going into that game mentally?
Well, it has to be, right? Like it'd be very naive to think that it isn't. We know that those mental edges definitely exist. I do think that if you're LCC, that yes, you lost that game, but when you went back and watched film, I think you probably saw some things that, hey, you know what, that game was a lot closer than what maybe it might have looked like at different times.
And
ultimately,
they probably
came
helped Columbus Grove.
Absolutely, and that was a game where it felt like Columbus Grove dominated the first half. LCC won the second half. Columbus Grove just made a few more plays when they need to. That's how you win these games.
You calling for the rematch?
I believe we'll see that rematch.
I'd love to see it.
I think we're going to see that rematch, and I do think that whoever wins that one puts themselves in a good spot to make it to that state final.
I agree with you, and hopefully I get to call it.
Guys, we're seeing a lot of talk on social media about the bye week. High school football teams taking the bye week or not having the choice to take the bye week. They just get the bye week. Should they have the choice, Nate?
So here's what I think about this whole thing with this bracket and the bye. I'm fine. If you want to keep the bye, go to the 12 teams. This is how that works. That's fine. But every other sport in the state of Ohio gets to put themselves on a bracket.
Yep.
Football should be no different. If you have earned a top 4 seed, you have earned the right to choose where you want to go, where you want to play, and when you want to play. You want to see some exciting things, and you want to have some new talking points about who's trying to avoid who and who wants to go where and who wants to – let them put themselves on the line. You earned your seed 1 through 12, that's fine, and then just go down the line like we do in every other sport in this state and be able to put yourself on the bracket.
How about being the lower seed and the 1 seed picks you, right? Yeah, I mean, as a football coach, you have that, hey, they picked us. You have that mantra all week long. They don't respect you. They wanted to play you guys, right? I would like to see that as well, right? You have that ability. You've earned that right because we've all coached football, former football coaches, and we've had a bye, and then that first quarter, you're like, ooh, we're not the same football team. The momentum we had disappeared, right? That's what all football coaches are worried about. But if you're a beat-up football team, that bye could be magical, right? All of a sudden, everybody starts to feel better about Monday or Tuesday on that bye week.
But that's, I think, why it's even more important for teams to have the choice instead of it just thrust upon them. Coaches know their teams. They know what's going to be the best for them in the long run. If you play all season and you earn a top seed or one of the top 4 seeds, you should have an option of what you want to do and not be told what you have to do.
But you better win, because I don't want to be that football coach that likes to pick the play instead of taking the bye, and then you lose that game. Ooh, you're going to be going out of town to shop for a while.
And nothing creates more animosity in a room full of coaches when you pick their school to play. Guys, let's take a look at some teams that didn't make the playoffs this year that we think will make deep tournament runs next year.
Yeah, that's one of the things I didn't like about the format back to 12 teams. I kind of enjoyed 16 teams because there's teams that I want to see continue to play because there's interesting storylines, like the Van Wert team. I said a couple weeks ago, if they got into playoffs, boy, I would not want to play them because they are so explosive with Xavier Kelly and the guys outside. I just would not want to play a team like that. I wanted to see them get in the playoffs because I think it would make them better next year. I think next year, though, all those guys, another year older, watch out. They're going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So I actually picked the exact same. I think because we talked about a lot about that Van Wert team at the beginning of the year, we felt like, well, maybe they're a year away, right? They had a lot of pieces that were new. Zach Crummy under center with his skill set and what they can do as a team. That was a team that we thought could be dangerous, but kind of felt like maybe they were going to need a year to get things going. I think next year that is a team that the WBL and the rest of the division has to look out for. That is a very dangerous team.
Well, I've got a clean sweep. It's Van Wert, but I've also got a couple other teams in there that I really like. And one in particular that I work at is Waynesville Goshen. They've got a lot of young kids. Now, I don't know that Waynesville Goshen and Allen East are going to go from not making the tournament to deep runs. It typically doesn't happen that way. Typically, we see them not make the tournament. They take that next step. They get in and they do what they do. These two schools have a lot of young talent. They've got a lot of young skill position players, but I like those three to get in next year.
Is Miles McDermott back next year or is he a senior?
I believe he's a senior.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Or is he a junior? I'd have to check that
They got Hirschberger and Keegan Jones coming back. Keegan Jones is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the area.
Yeah. All right, guys, we do a lot of weird, crazy things on this show, you know. This one is kind of neat, though. Miles came up with this one, which is, you know, I'll give him credit, Nate. He did a good job there. We're going to build the perfect football monster from the best players here in Northwest Ohio. We're going to take pieces of them, and we're going to build a super player.
It's alive.
Kind of like what I was in high school. A super player.
He was a tight end on how many games did you guys win in high school?
It doesn't matter. Why don't you go first, Miles, and shut your mouth?
0-40.
I don't think it was that. I think it was 0-39. 29.
All right. How about I'll pick one attribute from a player, and then we'll take turns. How about that? All right. I'm going to go with you want your monster to have unbelievable strength, right? Who's got more strength than the Crim Reaper himself, Parker Crim, the guy that goes in the parking lot and just lifts small cars over his head? Like, what he did in the weight room at Elida during his career is fantastic. We've watched him play football. He knows how to use his strength on the football field, right? That is a perfect monster that can just take people and rip their limbs off.
Absolutely.
So, what's scarier than being tracked by a monster that you can't see? It's just elusive. You always know that it's around, but every time you turn around, it's gone. You can't seem to find it. You can't touch it. You can't catch it, but it's always there lurking. That elusiveness of a Braxton Lee. Ooh. You see him, and then he's gone, and you don't know where he's at. You don't know where he went. You can't catch him.
Where'd he go?
Braxton Lee's elusiveness is the best way to start off one of these
You see him, and he's
monsters.
kind of like Miles. We used to call him Blister because he would show up after the work. Yeah.
Terrible joke.
I know, right? For me, guys, I need somebody with hands. I need somebody with big, strong hands. And there's a young man up I-75 that plays for the Eagles of Liberty Bend, Seth Elkert.
Yeah.
Throw me the ball, baby. He just goes up and he crushes that football. Give me the hands of Seth Elkert all day.
I absolutely love that one. Still the all-time leading consecutive game reception guy, 45 after last week's game. Oh, boy. You want a monster? You want a monster that's going to be tenacious, right? A monster that's going to keep hunting. Nothing's going to get in his way. He's going to hunt you down. How about number 55 from Wapakoneta, Mr. Hauser? Who's more tenacious than that guy? He's an absolute monster.
I'm sticking in that same team as you, Miles. When you got what monster you're trying to build, you want him to be able to see everything. You want him to be able to see through things, around things,
great vision.
see it all coming.
Right.
You want great vision in your
Like a
monster.
predator.
The vision of Caleb Moyer.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody sees the field better than Caleb Moyer when he is trying to find one of his receivers, makes very, very few mistakes because of that vision. You don't want your monster making mistakes. That's how they get caught.
However, though, he was completing 87% of his passes going in last week. Rough week, only 8 of 10.
Drop that down to 8.
Guys, back in the day when musicals meant something in Hollywood, Gene Kelly was singing in the rain, man. He could tap dance.
Terrifying.
He had incredible feet. I'm telling you.
Terrifying than a musical.
Scary monster you're talking about.
I'm telling you, his feet were electric. But you know who has electric feet besides Gene Kelly? Xavier Kelly.
No,
I
he
want the
does.
feet
He does,
of Xavier Kelly. I want him tap dancing all over the WBL.
So he celebrates as a monster.
Yeah. Singing in the rain, baby. Singing in the end zone.
We call that
Xavier Kelly.
Stretching.
That's pretty rough there. I'm sure Xavier Kelly's watching this. He's like, yes, I've always wanted to be compared to Gene Kelly. Yes, thank you, Mr. Holbrook.
People watching out there, who's Gene Kelly? Yeah.
All right, now your monster is going to be strong, right? And he's going to be able to attack you and punish you in many different ways. However, once in a while, someone stopping your monster is going to get the upper hand. And that's where you need to have a powerful leg, because a leg kick is going to be something that can respond to someone attacking you back. And that's why I'm going with Griffin McCracken's right leg, because who's got a stronger 51-yard field goal leg than Griffin McCracken?
It's fantastic. Yeah.
So you talk about some of the scariest monsters that have ever existed. You're talking about the
Gilly.
Jasons. You're talking about the Michael Myers. You're talking about these guys who, no matter what happens, they just keep coming. Doesn't matter how fast you run. It doesn't matter how hard you hit them. It doesn't matter what you do. They never go away. That motor that just drives them, right?
It's like Danny showing up for the show.
Right.
It just never goes away.
It's weird how you guys have a key and I don't to get in the building. Yeah.
So I want the motor of Louis Knotts from LCC. He very underrated player, but he was just named first team All NWC. Plays on that line. I'll tell you what, that kid never ever stops. The motor he has, he's that glue guy for LCC. He gets that energy going for that team. You want that in your monster because he will never stop.
I need a monster with size. I need someone that stands up there with an S on their chest with a cape waving in the background.
As long as he has good feet.
Absolutely. I need a guy with brute strength and size, and I'm going over to Van Wert, and I'm getting Mr. Crummy. He's a man.
He is huge.
He's 6'7", 200 and whatever you call it.
You can't teach that.
Yeah, that's right. You can't teach size. That guy stands on the Empire State Building swatting at planes. He's a monster. He's my size.
That's a pretty good one right there. All right, now your monster's going to have speed too, because sometimes that prey is going to want to get away. You don't want to have to walk him down all night long. You want to chase him down, right? That's why I'm going with Trevon Bad News Baxter from Columbus Grove, because you know what he did last week? Not one, but 2 kickoff returns, and boy, I tell you, he ran right by everybody. Nobody's faster than him.
And I can't believe that we've left this guy off of this list of what he can do. You know, we've talked about the strength, and we've talked about those. He's that glass eater, right? He's
a glass eater.
He is going to go through anything, run through everything. That toughness, that strength. And I'm talking about Jack Rader over in Butt. That is going to be the final attribute for my monster. Unstoppable.
The great thing, too, about Jack is he can pick out the outfit. Remember, he told us over there he's a terrible dresser. So you want your monster to look kind of mean, right? So he's going to pick out an all-black, nasty outfit. That's going to be perfect for that monster.
For me, my final one, we've already talked about him, but I'm going with the knowledge of Caleb Moyer. He can read any defense. Most of the monsters we develop here are just like, feed me graham cracker. No. This guy, he can read a defense. He can just size them up. I want his brain in my monster.
So just to be clear, your monster runs on graham crackers and musicals.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Terrifying.
It's
absolutely terrifying.
Fun monster.
Boy, I remember as a kid, Mom telling me, hide the graham crackers so the monsters don't get them.
Hide you guys. All right, guys, let's talk about our Stolly Sensational Player of the Week. I'm going first because you guys always make fun of me. How do you go against what I'm picking? Listen to this stat line. Are you kidding me? Caleb Moyer, 13 carries for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. Oh, is that not good enough for you? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pass 8 of 10 for 170 yards and 3 more touchdowns. Old boy had 6 touchdowns on his own. How do you have a better night than that?
How do you go with a guy whose completion percentage dropped during the game? How do you go with that guy?
We really should start talking and coordinating a little bit before this show.
I guess I know who you picked.
Because I also went with Caleb Moore, walking away with that big victory, giving themselves the outright Western Buckeye League in a matchup where there could have been a letdown for Walpock. But Caleb Moore was not going to let that happen. They wanted all that momentum to carry into the playoffs, which it did, as they had that big victory led by him, as they have been all year long.
I picture, if you put a camera in his helmet, that predator, that ching, and he focuses in on the guys, right? That's him. He's like a predator when he's
$6 million eye.
$6 million. But I'm going to go with Trevon Baxter, right? The guy is absolutely unbelievable. Not only on the kickoff returns, the best thing, if you go back and watch it, all right, the second kickoff return, which we couldn't believe there was a second opportunity, but the second kickoff return, there's nobody around him because he's so fast. He actually waves the people on the sideline as he's about the 20. He's throttling down like, hey, guys, I'm scoring another touchdown.
Bye.
But as a safety, boy, he comes up, and boy, howdy does he hit people. He is just he is nearly a perfect football player for that Columbus Grove team.
We're going to let Nate do the Power 5 teams because I got a feeling mine's going to line up with his.
Yeah, so a little bit of change, but not much from last week. Number 1, Marion Local. Yes, it was a close one, but they just continued to win. Liberty Benton, that undefeated record of theirs. A little surprised that 10-0 didn't get them that bye.
I know, right?
But I think some of that had to do with that strength of schedule coming out of that BVC, but still a very dominant season for them. Columbus Grove, they are on a 7-game win streak. They are dominating the NWC. Walpock winning the Western Buckeye League yet again, just in dominant fashion. And a new entry into my top 5. Yes, they lost, but it was a 1-point loss to the best team in the area. They had them on the ropes. Coldwater rounding out my top 5.
6-4.
6-4, but I'm telling you, not all records are built the same, Miles.
Okay. All right, Danny, you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So in no particular order.
Come on.
Okay, Marion Local comes in at 1. Wapak comes in at 2. Liberty Benton comes in at 3. Those St. Henry Redskins come in at 4. And I got a new team in my top 5. I kept him out because I wasn't sure, but I'm sure now, and that's the old Columbus Grove Bulldogs.
Yeah,
I know they got 3 losses, but I'm telling you, I don't want to play him. I don't think anybody in the state of Ohio wants to play him.
I think if you went back and you asked those 3 teams to play him now that they lost to, no, we're good. Then we had our shots. All right, I'm going Marion local because how do you not? They've won, 74 in a row now, is it? 74. Unbelievable, crazy. Liberty bet number 2 because they did steamroll everybody. Yeah. I know you could make the case that the BVC's not up to the same level as them. Well, that's okay, but they're doing their business. They're taking care of it, right? They're going to have a great playoff. I can't wait till they match up against Liberty Center at some point in time in the playoffs, see if they can finally get by. Wapakoneta at number 3. Who wants to play them? Absolutely nobody, right? No. And I'm going to go with LCC. I know they stumbled against Grove, but they came back, took care of business, won against
Still a great
Cresser.
team.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm foreshadowing because my number 5 team is Grove. And like Nate said earlier in the show, I'd love to see that rematch
We all want
again.
that rematch. We all do.
And I hope that I call that game.
You and me, baby.
Politicking at its finest. All right, guys, let's transition over to college football now. The Buckeyes have a huge game this weekend. It probably would have been a little bigger if Penn State would have held up their end of the deal, but nonetheless, it's a blackout. It's a noon blackout, which is really, really weird. We can get to that later, which I think is kind of silly. Any concerns about the Nittany Lions?
There should be, right? But there just doesn't feel like it is.
Right.
This is a team that's obviously transitioning with an interim coach. They don't have their starting quarterback anymore. There's all sorts of issues going on with them. It almost feels like Penn State has lost that winning way,
right.
or knowing how to win. And I don't see them finding that this week against Ohio State.
Yeah, it's a team in disarray, right? Yeah, it's rudderless. You try to study it, and they love to scare us into making sure that this is going to be a tough game. They want people to watch it. But honestly, when you go back and you look at all the facets of the football game, do you see any area where you think Penn State has an advantage over top of Ohio State?
They've got 2 really good running backs.
Right.
But their offensive line hasn't played well.
Has not played
and
well.
Their play calling has been really bad.
They got a guy that's making their second career start at quarterback, right? So what can allow the Ohio State defense to do? Focus on the run game. Those 2 running backs have not been great this year. Special teams has been bad for them. Their defense has been underperforming with Jim Knowles. I don't understand why it takes Jim Knowles 19 years to get his system implemented, but it is, and thankfully for Ohio State, they get to go there. And you just know, Ryan Day, publicly he's going to be very stoic, but behind closed doors, you don't think there's a little extra oomph to hang some points on Jim Knowles' defense after the way he left last year? Absolutely. I don't see any way Ohio State loses this one unless Ohio State helps them win.
The only thing that concerns me in this matchup is that James Franklin isn't coaching it.
I know. We wish it. Yeah.
That's the only thing.
How great would it be if Ohio State brought him in as an honorary captain for that game?
Let's do it. Guys, last year we saw the emergence of Carson Hinsman do a fantastic job anchoring that offensive line. Is there anybody on this team who's had a okay season that will make a difference in the second half?
So I think it's going to be James People. I think that we've spent a lot of time talking about this run game. There was a lot of expectations on him and C.J. Donaldson coming into this one. Bo Jackson is kind of that 3rd running back. He's kind of taken over that spotlight. Yeah. But they need somebody other than him in order for this run game to excel to the point where I think we all feel like they need to at least have it. Yeah. James People only has 200 yards rushing this season. I think that as this goes on, I think we'll see as the weather starts to turn, it starts to get a little bit having to grind out some games. Hopefully we see him gain that traction that we thought he was going to have to begin this season, and he really starts to pick things up. And I think if they can get him going on top of what Bo Jackson has been able to do, especially if we get some more consistency out of that, that will really help propel this team.
I would love to see it because he got passed up by Isaiah West also in that last game at Wisconsin. I'd love to see James Peoples. I predicted he'd be a 1,200-yard rusher this year. I absolutely love him. He better because if not, I don't know if he's going to be a Buckeye next year, right? Because you have 2 other freshman running backs that have passed you by. Why do you stick around in that environment? West is going to be a fantastic one. We all know what Bo Jackson can do, right? I hope Peoples is right. But I'm going to go with Brandon Ennis. Oh, nice. I think he's a guy that could really explode. I get it. We have 2 great receivers on the outside. Let's give him the ball a ton. We have 2, 3 really good tight ends. Get him the football. But at some point in time, you're going to have to take advantage of a 3 and 4 receiver set and get him matched up against a strong safety. If he's as quick and as good as we think he can be, there's nobody that's going to be able to match up on him. He could be a guy that could run across a formation like he did at Penn State a year ago, and then just run by everybody for a touchdown. Look for him to make a big push.
I have two guys, and I want to start on the offensive side, and I'm going to talk about Isaiah West a little bit. There's not been a player on this roster who, when given the opportunity, has done more with his time. He's been fantastic.
And even Bo Jackson.
Yeah, very limited role, but my goodness, he's so quick. When Bo Jackson is healthy, I don't think there's any question who the best running back on the roster
ankle's
is.
been bad a little.
It has been.
Yep.
But Isaiah West, he's shifty. I'm telling you, man. I love when he goes through those holes. I think he's going to be, and I think we're going to see if all reports out of camp and everything they talked about this kid, they called him the Jeremiah Smith of the defensive side, Devin Sanchez. Devin Sanchez, I believe, is going to make a play in a game this year where we're all going to be like, that is his coming out party. I think we're going to see it. He's already started a game this year. Yep. You don't see true freshmen start in the defensive backfield at Division I schools, and he's already done it this year.
Yeah, especially big ones like Ohio State.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys, the schedule's coming to an end. Anybody besides Michigan concern you?
Nate, you want to go first on this one?
I mean, no. I mean, look, we can try to make some compelling TV and arguments and things like this, but look, no is the answer. And Michigan.
Purdue doesn't scare you?
No. Purdue. And this is all leading up to the matchup that we all have been waiting for since the end of last November, and it's that Michigan game. And are we finally going to be able to shake that loose? This has been a different team since last November at that loss, going on that college football playoff run, and even this year with all the new pieces and what we're seeing, the defenses look completely different. The offense is finally starting to open up that playbook a little bit. It's Michigan and nothing else.
You've got the best quarterback in the country, too.
And then after that, I quite frankly, I'm looking forward to this matchup looming in the Big Ten championship game of Indiana.
Indiana? I'm not worried. Who is Indiana take away Oregon on the road?
But I think Oregon's maybe a little overrated.
In the last 2 years, what has Kurt Spaghetti? Who have they beaten over at Indiana?
I'm not saying that they have. I'm just saying, I didn't say it was a game I was worried about. I said it's a game that I'm interested in watching.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to go with Rutgers, and I'll tell you why. Okay, Rutgers, since Graciano's been there, always plays us tough.
Sure.
Right? A couple of years ago up there, they gave us everything we could handle, barely escaped from a win right there. Plus, he is a trick play artist every time he plays Ohio State. Do you remember that weird quarterback sneak handoff that they ran for a touchdown a couple of years ago? And a little bit of change of philosophy. They were a run-first team. They're throwing on about every single down now, and if a quarterback gets hot, I know he's got to survive the pass rush against Ohio State, but if they get in some rhythm, go some tempo, they could make our lives a little bit difficult.
Absolutely. I like that call. I don't think they'll beat us.
No, I don't
but I think we're okay. The Michigan game is what we're all waiting for, and I think that's what we'll get. So a big matchup looming in late November.
Big show next week, too.
Absolutely. Big show next week, Lima Land. We got the Lima Senior Spartans coming in. Record-setting quarterback Janias Hall and head coach Bill Lawrence join us here on the Three Wise Men.
And in 2 weeks, we got another big one.
We do. We've got head coach Seth Evans from the Perry Commodores and Wyatt Taviano, who has carried the ball 18,000 times this year.
Yeah, we're going to set up some people out in the hallway to hit him on his way in.
And between then and now, a lot of playoff games.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Teams are going to start dwindling. Every game becomes a little bit bigger and bigger. The next couple of weeks are very, very exciting.
I want to make sure I got this right. You have to win to continue to play?
Yeah, it's a new wrinkle that they threw into the playoffs this year.
HSAA is crazy.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Lima Land, if you got letters you want to send them in, you can email us at the3wisemen@WTLW.com. Thanks a lot for watching this each and every week.